Hobie Brown is back in the purple mask, but is the Prowler #1 a must-grab? Let's take a look and find out. What's up, everybody? I'm Stan, and welcome to Detail Comics, where we go over comics in detail. In this iRate review, I'm going to be talking about the Prowler #1. So the Prowler #1 is one of those interesting books where it's about a character that's not necessarily one of your main specific focal kind of characters. He was always a secondary character, played well on other sides, or, as a supporting cast member inside an overall story arc. But this is going to be his foray into his own independent title. And what we see when we start the book is that Hobie Brown, as the Prowler, still can't quite get over his superhero-style intentions, as he breaks up a robbery in progress. However, what we do find is that when we get back to New You, his new home away from home, after being resuscitated from death, he finds that some of his fellow apartment mates, I guess, they're kind of having a disagreement in a fight. But this is kind of a little bit of an Easter egg style section where you can see new other rectified villains that have been brought back by this New You technology. So you've got the Jackal Lantern, and then we later get a name drop of Madam Web, who is giving out predictions as one of the most powerful clairvoyants in the Marvel Universe. Evidently, Hobie Brown has been hired by the Jackal to be his head of security and kind of keep these people in line. And Hobie seems to be really dedicated to this potential cause. He sees what kind of value there is in this, and ultimately doesn't really fall in line with where he was as the Spider-Man support team, when he was roaming around in San Francisco. So the story itself is independent of what we'd expect from the Clone Conspiracy or an Amazing Spider-Man title. And what I was expecting going into this book was actually something much less than what I got. This was a definitely independent Hobie Brown story. It's not necessarily focused on any of the surrounding characters, and it's really about him and his experience going through this. The unfortunate thing is that Hobie Brown as a character, he's not super compelling. It's just, there's not enough built up to him in order for him to be somebody that grabs my particular interest. And the way that the Clone Conspiracy is currently set up, it's just very loose, and there's not really a whole heck of a lot of value in this book regarding those things. There is a very last page reveal-y kind of cliffhanger, and it kind of makes you question things, but it's not enough, and it still requires some sort of context regarding the overall story and how things are going. What I run into is that Jamal Campbell's art is very cool. It's not necessarily my favorite art style, but like I said, it's very cool. Very soft coloring that goes along with very hard-edged outlines that are tied in with very good backgrounds. It's a very appealing art style, but there's something that just feels like it's a touch off in the mix, and it's probably just me and my perception of things. But as far as the book's concerned, it just doesn't feel like it has enough to go on. There's not enough gravity, there's not enough pull that's going to bring in a new reader to be a Prowler fan or to follow along on a Prowler title, unless there's some serious development over these next 3 to 4 issues while it's tied into the Clone Conspiracy to make it a much more long-lasting, ongoing title. I really hope that this was originally planned to be some sort of mini. As things go on, I'm going to keep you guys filled in, but right now, we don't necessarily know if this is particularly important, and I don't see anything that would really indicate that it's anything too particular to the Clone Conspiracy, which kind of puts it on the back burner. It's not necessarily something that you got to go pick up right now, but if there's something that kind of kicks up that ties back to this book, you might want to pick one up for reference. That's really up to you, though, at this point in time. So that's my review of the Prowler #1. But I want to know what you guys thought, too, if you read it. Hit me up in the comments down below. We'll start that conversation and see if there's something that I might have missed, or there's something I misinterpreted, or something that, you didn't necessarily recognize. So let me know, and we can start that conversation. As always, if you like what you see, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to get more news, reviews, and commentary on comic books, comic book movies, comic book TV shows or games, and anything and everything having to do with the world of comics.